The meeting and started the recording.
Okay, excellent. So it must be time to get started.
That's what I have 6.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And going to call this regular board meeting ORS 192.63024. We're going to start with the consent agenda. Did everyone have a chance to read through the minutes? Are there any corrections or additions?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. All right. Let's do a roll call since we have a member absent. Okay, perfect.
We have two currently.
We have two currently, yeah, Macy and Deb. But we do have a quorum since there are 3 of us. Recognition input of guests. And we have Kobe Dunlap visiting us tonight. Welcome.
Thank you.
Administrative reports. Athletics, James, give us the rundown.
Okay, numbers are looking real good for sports so far this year, both high school and middle school are pretty much up and everything. So we're really happy with that. And the teams are off and running. High school football's gotten off to a great start. 2-0, 2 big wins. 5 players, the offense average between 2 weeks. Ranked number 1 in the power rankings right now, but it's early. That doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think they're number 4, number 3 in the coaches poll for this week. So doing real well. Very happy with the coaching staff. Like they're doing a good job managing the team. The boys went through the line last week and then went over and while the coaches were talking, took a picture from the scoreboard and then they really did look good. And before Joe and I can say anything, Travis was on it, talked to them, apologized to us, apologized to Co, and dealt with it. So I mean, I've been very happy with the job Travis is doing so far. And
Nice.
first home game this Friday with Belgium. We have a good game. Belgium's much improved this year, so figure we're gonna have a good test. Hopefully we win. Volleyball, 500 overall right now in varsity. They're got some holes. Some good talent out there. So they have some freshmen coming and stuff in place. So they're one holes, but they're doing well. Got to win last night go to Pine Eagle. At Pine Eagle. Cross country is doing their thing again. So it's hard to tell where cross country is at. It's not like regular competition. All right. So they're doing well. They went to the ultimate run, which I think is going to have a high school and saw some big competition. Boys and girls did real well. And new coach McKinsey, Shinji, and Kara Baxter did a great job.
Nice.
The numbers are almost big enough. They almost can't fit high school and junior high cross country on one bus. We've got just short of 60 kids. So great turnout. I'm sure if you can get kids going that far and you get a lot of them do it, right? It's something great. So we had multiple, we had coach meeting with both our high school and junior high coaches here before right up the parents coaches right after school started, and then high school coaches that had a practice starting and went over expectations and gave kudos to them for all the accomplishments last year. We did 4 scheduled kind of meetings. We go over the code of conduct and spectator program conduct. We did get a little pushback, but like people did come, but overall, I think it was a pretty positive experience. A lot of people were appreciative and said thank you for covering this stuff. We're planning to do at least one more program to try and catch we don't have a whole lot of lights. We won't know until we see the rosters for this, but doesn't seem like we have a whole lot of parents there. It's not going to fall, it's doing it. So
Did we catch everyone?
we caught up with everyone. There's a couple situations there's extenuating circumstances involved that we didn't, but besides those 2, we've been able to. So and we had done several one-on-ones between Joe and I. So
Good.
We appreciate the effort.
Yes. we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we think we should have recorded ourselves, just hit play the next night. We got lucky the second night, because I was thinking we were about done. And so I remember that I had a big point that I made, so I launched into that point, and then Joe goes, and then if you'll turn to the backside. So that's a big catch, Joe. Good catch. I tried to play it off like it was a test on him, but it didn't work. He knew I didn't. So, but anyhow, the meetings did go well. We're getting everybody lined out with the online registration paperwork through Arbiter. That's turned out to be going nice. Still working out some kinks. It's created probably more work in the early onset, just get it set up, but come winter season, we'll start seeing the benefits. And parents seem to be very happy about that, but get each kid signed up once and they don't have to fill out the paperwork unless there's changes. So, and we're still exploring and learning. There'll be a lot more, I'm sure we'll learn about that, about what we can do with Arbiter going forward too. So, you know, how about that?
Sure, yep. So referee shortage is it's a real problem now, and it continues to get worse and worse. Obviously, for some sports, it doesn't have much of an effect. You know, cross country doesn't have officials at their races, but just this week, we have had a lot of heartache over our homecoming game that weekend. There's 4 other schools in the area that are having home games. 3 of us, it's our homecoming weekend, and the referees are asking, we have to move some games. We don't have enough people. And so, you know, for us, that's a huge heartache this year because of all the work we've put into getting this Hall of Fame thing ready and, you know, moving. Anyway, we don't blame any school district for feeling like we don't want to move our homecoming game. You know, how can we look the community in the eye and say, yeah, we were willing to be the nice guy this time and move our homecoming game? You know, none of us should have to be in that spot. But anyway, it's a real problem, and I don't know what the solution is other than to keep encouraging people to go get certified, but we're just not seeing it happen, and I'm afraid, you know, we're headed for a world where you know, the referees say, you know, you get to have games on Thursdays this year, all of these weeks, and you know, we don't get to talk it out. They tell us, here's what you get, you know? And so it's concerning and frustrating. And, you know, what is hardest for us is people don't see that. And so, you know, we have 3 home games this year. If one of them has to get moved to a Thursday or Saturday, people aren't going to see that we're trying our very best to make everyone else understand, hey, we've only got 3 home games, and, you know, we're the short team this year, and we've got this in place. And ultimately, they're just trying to represent their communities too. And so anyway, we know we're going to catch grief eventually from people. And it's not because we're doing everything in our power to try and make it right and work out. So just be aware of that as you interact with people in the community.
All right.
Good news is we don't have to move on. So,
Yeah,
Oh, yay.
yes.
so,
Okay.
yeah, there's not expecting that, but other schools have done, so.
Nice.
But we had probably strong skate, we have 3 weeks, and it's been coming in, so all new stuff, and so. Kind of lucked out there. We've got 2 official proposals out at this time from OSAA for the next 4-year cycle. One has 6 classifications, one has 5. The 5 classification one league would be 2A, which is a different classification, but it's essentially the same league regardless. Some of the other teams we would play obviously would be different based off of who's 2A and who's 1A. And we're still breaking it down to see what the real implications of it are. But on the surface, we're going to be in the same league regardless of where it goes. They're trying to get where if there's 5 classifications, there's 300 schools. If there's 60 in each classification, or if it's 6 classifications, there's 50. So it's more balanced in making, because we're trying to work on playoff allocations and all those things to balance things out. Because so if you break it down by classification, there's a lot of disparity in what percentage are making playoffs from each classification. So we always lobby for 1H, obviously most, because we have one way most. I think there's 80 some schools we want right now. So anyhow, that's getting down to the nitty gritty. They'll make a decision from this December, and as a result of these first 2 being coming out, we're starting to see some iterations of it coming from other ADs that are putting proposals out. Some of them are changes that are obvious, but one of them that has a league where Enterprise is going south and Reagan is going north. They're both in the same classification, so it's like, that's, which means no brainer switches that I'm sure will happen, but anyhow, that's something we'll be sharing our information with her and talking about, you know, what we want to put forth as far as our two stance in this whole situation. But two, our numbers are growing, so even if they go to classifications and we're 1A by the cycle into it. So,
And that kicks in next year?
yes,
Okay.
it'll be a 4-year cycle. So.
So then on that second page, number 7, our home game management, this is something that we're trying to do our best to fulfill what you've requested as well as promote what we're in favor of as right. So there have already been some signs put up in the gym that say all positive, all union, always. They look pretty nice. I think we're excited to see more of those signs go up in other places, because it's just a good attitude to share with our kids as well. And then we intend to have copies of the Spectator Code posted in places, you know, as people are coming into the games, contests. And it is as part of our pregame announcement, we'll make sure we mention the Spectator Code. And then we'll be kind of moving around the facility. It gets a little tricky sometimes, right? As far as, you know, running music and making sure everything's working with the clock and so forth. But where possible, one of us will be moving around the facility as well. And we didn't include this here, but Mr. Freitag and myself still need to sit down with certain degrees and discuss kind of their role and what exactly that looks like as far as them coming to games as well.
Nice.
And then this last point, so this varsity U club used to exist here in Union long before I was here. Mr. Freitag remembers it from his previous time here. Maybe there's some other people that remember, but it is something that we're trying to bring back as a way to influence our student population to positive cheers. And so right now we're working specifically with our ASB president, Henry Wing, and he's gotten very excited about some things. He went down to a conference this summer with OSA. We're really proud of him for wanting to put in some time. There's another training coming up with OSA that he wants to go to. We're going to see if we can put something together for him to get to it. But he is very excited about promoting good sportsmanship. And so just some of the things we're talking about are, you know, what are some positive cheers that he and a few students can lead out with? What are some things that we can do to have good representation? Like maybe we're going to do T-shirts for this group of kids, this club. And so anyway, just some exciting things so that you can look at the stands and go, there's our student section and they're together and they're proud and they're positive. So that's what that club will look like.
Nice opportunity for leadership for a kid.
Yeah, we're trying to capitalize on Henry's energy and good quality.
He's a nice kid.
Yeah.
Well, he gets it when the playoffs get free.
Yeah. And so you guys know too, the all positive, all union always is that's what we promoted as a mantra at the parent.
Nice.
And we want that to be the mindset. It doesn't mean that you can't, so you don't have to sit there and clap and be open and proper. And it doesn't mean you can't cheer on the other team when they make a great play, but if our mindset is becoming that's all positive, all union, then we're thinking that, and we're not doing the negative. We're not yelling at bad calls. We're not yelling at coaches. We're not yelling at the players. So
Nice.
and it seemed like that was pretty well received. And the last thing on there on our report is homecoming is coming up. We're very excited about it. Seems to be generating more excitement as we go along. It sounds like some of the people being inducted are very excited about it. We've got it on our Facebook. It's on Eastern Oregon Sports. It should be found out. We're trying to get it hit all the outlets.
Heard it on the radio this morning.
Yeah, great. So, well, I'm glad because I got a message asking for access and next call guys because I was like, looks like you have access, so.
Well, it was on radio.
So, anyhow, we're really pushing, trying to put it out there so maybe people can see where they can buy tickets, because it is, the effort is to be, recognize our history, our heritage, and build pride, but also it'd be a fundraiser for the Booster Club. And so I think we're 40 to 50 tickets right now. We're going to try and get at least 300. So,
Can we get a mailbox in the school for the Booster Club so that,
They have one.
oh, they have one?
Yeah.
So that if I bring my money down to the school, they can just throw it in that box and somebody will check it?
I think it's in the high school staff room.
Okay, perfect.
and we're trying to make it very special for them too. We're getting every individual that gets inducted is going to get a ring. We're still working on what the design looks like, but it's
Wow.
classy and
Cool.
and then we're going to do patches for members of the teams. So something like they could put on their old Letterman's jacket or sweater if those pictures, or they could hang it, whatever. But we'd like to do rings for all the teams, but that would be, that's how this would be. So, but anyhow, hopefully it's pretty cool. We talked about, oh my gosh, you do maybe they wear it. I'm like, I didn't wear it. Showing it off all over the place. Like, oh, I got to take this thing off this side, rotate side. So, anyhow, we're excited. We're also, this is nice in the sense of nervousness too, but it's getting down to nitty gritty. We got about 3 weeks what happens, so.
Yeah.
Gonna be in the gym. So,
High school gym?
yep, so we're gonna pull out the tarps and we got tables secured and,
So the homecoming dances are happening in the Miller. We're
it's being catered by, City Market Deli, Market and Deli. So.
Nice.
we could do-
Very cool. Questions, comments for Jim or James?
Oh, and one last thing too, we're doing a silent auction. There's Scott Shores working really hard with along with their artists to have items art to be auctioned off. So some items in there going to be from Ireland. And obviously we have some very artistic home items that I'm sure I haven't seen what they've created or what's been put up.
Emulate, Craig Throat, those are some of the artists that we know.
It's exciting.
I can't remember. Those were the two I remember for sure.
Lots of good stuff going. Thanks, guys.
Brent Tyler.
Brandon, you know.
Yes, she.
Not this year.
All right. Carter, you are up.
So thanks, Joe and James. I appreciate all the effort. I know that you guys put a lot of time and energy into that. And the time I did get to attend, you guys did a great job. You feed well off of each other. And it really was good, and it was enjoyable, and I think it was informative. And so I appreciate it. So good news at the high school right now is we are up 12 students from this meeting last year. And so that's really good. It's pretty exciting. And so then if you look at the district total from this time last year, we're up about 6. So as a district, so that's really great. We've got some upcoming things like James talked about. Chris just took the 7th graders to the Union County Safe Schools Coalition presentation in LeGrand. I'm taking the 8th graders tomorrow. We've got the statewide in-service coming up. We've got the OSBA fall workshop. There's always something going on. Picture day. I mean, there's just, it just never ends. Eligibility, we had 1 student on the ineligible report. I mean, after we're in the 2nd week, I think that's probably pretty good. So we've had no refocus forms in the den as after day 6. We've had 1 detention due to attendance. We gave the kid a get out of jail free card. I called mom, and mom's like, well, you already gave him a chance, and he did it again. Give him a detention. So, so that's the first one. We got that taken care of today. The start of the year, the first day was very successful, and I got a handout or a shout out to Marco. Marco put together a script for me to read for the staff. We turned out the lights, turned on the spotlight, and I really got into it. And it was pretty fun. It was, the Chicago Bulls, and so these are our starters, and it was fun. It was a good way to kick off the year, and the kids were into it. The kids enjoyed it. and so that was really good. And then we had Joe Fingerhut out. He came out from Missouri, and the ESD paid for him to be there, and he had a good message for the staff, gratitude and grace. And then he had a great message for kids. Instead of "I can't, how can I?" And so I thought it was good. I know it's not for everybody, but it's the effort. It's the effort piece of that. That is what I feel like my job is as the superintendent and high school principal, get those things going. So moving on to Intermountain Virtual Learning Academy. Right now we have 22 students that are taking one class, but they take it inside the Bobcat Den. And so they go to the Bobcat Den, there's an adult in there, and then they log into their class and they're up and going. It's a great flexibility piece for us, because we might not offer this psychology class on campus, but the kid really wants to take it, so then they can take a class in the Bobcat Den, then they log into the psychology. Or maybe they failed geometry last year and they need to retake geometry. So that's a way, because the schedule gets pretty tight. And so it's great. It's created some very good flexibility. And so I appreciate it. Homecoming, like James said, is the week of September 28th, traditional format. So we have volleyball Thursday night, homecoming, pep assembly afterwards, noise parade, bonfire, then Friday night here.
And it is confirmed that OSA will be here to present us with the OSA card.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Huh?
Yeah.
At the football game.
No, at the pep assembly.
Thursday
At the
night.
pep assembly. Oh.
Oh, that's
We need
cool.
to advertise.
Yeah.
Ah.
Get them.
Yeah. No, I just got come up from Madison yesterday just to confirm, because I sent and said, hey, like, I'm gonna stay, and just got confirmation yesterday that
Time is up.
after the volleyball game, so it should be
6:30.
6:30, yeah.
That's the time we put on there, but it might be a little bit later.
Yeah, it's gonna be volleyball. No, that's in, we have Elgin home.
And the pep assembly's in the gym.
Yep,
Okay.
high school gym.
Okay.
And then, like I said, the Bobcat Den, we're seeing some great success with that. We have a classified employee in there all day, and I have attached a document of some different uses that I'll talk about in a minute. Character Strong, we've been doing that every Wednesday, 35-minute period to teach a social emotional curriculum required by Oregon Department of Education. Smith Security is going to be out September 24th to look at that back hallway of the gym and to see, what do we have to do to add, how much is it going to cost, so we could have some cameras in that back hallway of the gym.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Sure, I'm gonna send a quote for that, please.
I will call and see if Alpine Alarm will call me back.
They've been here twice in the last couple of weeks, and so if we put something new on, they're gonna notice when they come back to do the test.
Okay.
Fire alarms next year.
Okay.
So if we don't gather quotes, or at least try.
Yeah.
We could be in trouble.
Well, my neighbor works for Alpine Alarm, so I walk across the street. And so then the Bobcat Den is the next page. You can see that this is kind of like why we have the den, what we're doing with the den. This is the outline for the teachers, and it's great. It's really been great for K-12 students. And we do, some of this is our security so that we make sure we're not losing a kid. Then it talks about the refocus forms and the layers of refocus forms. We have now an addition to the refocus form that Chris and I are filling out when we visit with a kid as far as behavior. And that form will then go back to the teachers after we've entered the information into Synergy. We'll go back to the teachers as a follow-up of what Chris and I did with working with that kid today. So it loops in that communication because sometimes we get busy and we're off to the next thing, and then we don't get to come back and visit with the teacher about what happened with that kid. And so then if you look, then there's some of the office referral policy, and then you have the late work policy there. And then this document is just that behavior flow chart. We adopted it, I want to say a couple of years ago, and it's worked pretty well. I'm not doing, 85 office referrals in a day, which is great. And then the next page, I will talk about community service when we get to the discussion of the graduation policy, IKF. When we get to that, I will bring up this community service part there because that's part of that policy. As far as everything else goes in the high school and in the district, you can see when John was here last month, all the different things we got accomplished as far as the facilities. There's some tweaks that we got to get made or make. And then we'll talk more about some of the facility stuff as we get into the second half of the agenda. But that's everything I have for you tonight for September. It's a good start to the school year. And I think we have some really good kids in the building and some kids that have grown up. And it's really nice and rewarding to see that, you know, like, hey, I remember when you were in the office all the time and now you're not. And so those are good. But I'm happy to answer any questions. And then the rest of the packet is stuff that we'll talk about that's later agenda items. And I'll refer back to that.
Questions for Carter? All right. Thank you, Carter.
Yeah.
Andy?
The checklisting is going around somewhere. If anyone has seen it and has a question,
It's right here.
I can answer that.
Cross L welding for $1,000.
It was the stairwell on the north side of the high school for a hangar.
Nice. Okay. New stripe, is that gym floor?
No, it's a striping machine for the fields and,
Oh,
And you used it in the parking lot.
but yeah, our old one made it look like someone had been drinking. So, yeah.
okay.
Through a lot of things. This one is more efficient.
Okay. Pace, 91,000, is that our annual liability? Pitney Bowes?
Postage.
Oh, wow, okay.
We have a postage meter.
Oh,
So we pay
okay.
a meter fee, rental fee, and then we buy postage.
Okay. All the questions that I have on the checklist.
Think that's answers.
Yeah.
So,
That was
the
impressive.
audit draft has been received and I just haven't had a chance to look at it. It's the beginning of the year and setting up new payroll and everybody's bills. I anticipate that I'll get a chance to finalize it and approve it by the end of the month.
Okay.
So we will probably have them out either in October or November to present that.
Okay.
Fall regional meetings. I have it's a really good meal and I know you want to go. And so our turn is at EOU at the Gilbert Center on October 7th. And there is a registration that I can send in for you. Dinner at 6, meetings at 6:30. I can send that in for you if I have anybody who's interested in.
I will be attending that.
Let me, yeah, but I thought.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I went to last year. Yeah.
What time?
Looks like it's 6. Usually these say there's a social hour first, but this says dinner at 6, meeting at 6:30. On 7. Yes. Okay. I shall register you all tomorrow.
Thank you.
Final thing. John Townsend has received 2 grants. And the first is through a construction, I can't remember, it's AGC, but it's a construction kind of grant. It was $2,500. And the other is a larger grant from Perkins Funding, which funds all kinds of CTE projects. And it's that one is specifically for his tiny home, and it's $7,500. So when we adopted the budget, we planned for him to get some grant money. I mean, you kind of have to hedge your bets. So we're still within what we thought. I think we budgeted 25,000, maybe 30,000 in grants, about what Wild Horse gave in last year. So we're still within that, but if he keeps getting all of these little piecemeals, we might need to do a resolution to increase that so that he can spend that money within that year. Currently at this time, this is the only funding for this tiny home because Wild Horse gave it to him. He spent it to build the home. We haven't yet sold the home, so it's gonna work more like a business in that aspect. But he does have his own fund for that, so those funds don't get rolled into the general fund. It's, so. But I did want to share that with you because he has one part of these grants. That is all I have. Any other questions?
Questions?
Oh, I do have one more thing. Is it on the agenda? Is that maintenance plan thing?
Yeah.
Yes, it's on the agenda.
It's a bit, oh, wait.
Chris,
Put this in my packet.
your turn.
Right, so you can see our numbers, they're at the top of my report, the numbers in parentheses are where we finished the year in May. Last spring, and so we were at 208, currently 209 last spring. That is including the idea that we exited 32 sixth graders last spring and only entered 20 kindergarten students. And so we've maintained that, that low 200 number, even with that 12 students swing before we exited and gained. And so along the lines of our numbers, we do have a large fourth grade class. I am daily checking in with that teacher, and so far it is working. It's big with 29, but it is working. She has the right attitude. We're giving support, and we're checking in often to make sure that it is working. And then you can see the fifth grade is sitting right there at 28, and third grade at 26, and obviously sixth grade is at 45. But we're split. So that's what we have going on as far as the elementary numbers. Currently, we are wrapping up our beginning of the year diagnostics. We do a STAR reading and math assessment. Our math curriculum, iReady, does a diagnostic as far as grade level. And then we also do what's called a DIBELS test, which is it's letter, sounds, and a reading assessment. And so we do those all of those tests 3 times a year. And we are currently finishing up the first session of that. Our music changes. So obviously we hired a music teacher. I consider that to be probably the toughest job in the district. And so Mrs. Carson is really a piano player and a concert person or a choir person. And she is tackling the idea of teaching kids how to play the trumpet, the saxophone, and she's making it work. She's very positive. I think the kids are engaged. Every time I go in and ask her how it's going, she tells me it's going great. She shows up every morning. And so, it's been a success.
That's key.
So far. So Carter talked about the conferences between 7th and 8th grade. That's still happening. Student of the month, our first one's coming up September 30th. That's a tradition that we do that parents and kids look forward to. And so then before I get to the new parent message, last month we talked a lot about goals. And so I took that to heart. And so before my first staff meeting a couple of weeks ago now, I talked to my staff about my goals. And my goals mirror the district goals. And so what I'm asking teachers to do, and what I'm doing myself to help obtain those goals, is every time I go into a teacher's class, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, I'm looking for 3 things. I'm looking for the way that teachers use academic vocabulary. I'm looking for how they engage the kids to be involved in the lesson. And number 3, I'm looking for how they check for understanding. And so within 5 minutes or an hour, I should be able to come in and see those things happen. They either are or they're not. And then I can take notes and then share that 5-minute or that hour-long meeting with the teacher, and we can discuss what we're doing. So those 3 things, in my mind, improve instructional culture. And that's our goal in the elementary right now, is we've done a lot of work with how we're the culture of our school and how we're good people. And the 2 stories I'll tell you prove that. And now our teachers are starting to focus on how do we make better learners. And those are 3 things I look for every day when I go into the classroom that mirror what you want our district to improve.
Excellent. I love institutional focus.
So that's what we're doing in the elementary. And then, along the line of the Joe Fingerhut, so the district, Carter, found him. We arranged for him to come in, found the funding to do that. And, you know, sometimes when you're talking about those silly things that your motivational speakers bring to the adults, it's kind of like, yeah, we do that. And it's one in one ear and out the other. And so I think we kind of felt like that as adults when we listened to Joe talk. And then he came to the elementary and he did a talk, and his message was, you know, hey, the I can't idea has to whoosh out the door. And so then you have to be able to talk about how can I, and that was his deal. How can I overcome and how can I versus the I can't. And so I had an aide come in Monday and she said, Chris, I got to tell you a story about, you know, Bobby. And I said, all right. I said, hey, let's hook up on a little story. And she said, well, I had a kid at my house over the weekend. We were playing with these water guns, and they were like electric with batteries in them, battery powered water guns. And it was really corroded, and Bobby ended up with one that didn't work. And she says to this Bobby, says, I can't make it work. He goes, whoosh. He goes, how can I figure it out? So, I mean, a little third grader, and I mean, we got the message. And if you knew Bobby, and you knew where he was 3 years ago compared to right then, and he's telling the state that works at the district that he knows that she saw the message and he got it, like, it was us. And so, like, I mean, I don't know how much Joe Fingerhut costs, but that message right there, it's stuck with that kid. And if we can get one kid to hear the message,
Yep.
I mean, I think we're doing our job and that served its purpose.
And he passed it on.
He did.
Yeah, yeah.
We've had adults. That's out the window. So then another story that just justifies the culture at our school was we have a new family that moved into our district, and the kids were, you know, a little apprehensive about changing schools and being here, and one kid is doing better than the other. And the mom said to me the other day, I was asking her how it was going, and she basically said something to the effect of, hey, we're still working on selling the one kid, but the other, you know, the older kid, I think you got it. I said, well, how do you know? She said, well, we were talking about how things were going, and the kid said, she said, Mom, I think this is the first time I can be myself at school. And she said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, on my old school, I kind of had to fake who I was, and at union, I just get to be who I am.
Wow.
And so it just tells me that, like, everything that we're doing at school and talking about being a good person, we think that we're, you know, recycling everything that's working. And for a brand new kid in 6 days at school, be able to say that to their mom, it's like, they put that together in 5. It's pretty awesome.
That was very cool.
So that's what I got for you.
Very cool.
For this.
Okay.
We'll go back to high school.
Okay. Questions for Chris? Great report, Chris. Everyone's favorites, policy. Yay, let's do it. We're gonna keep up on these people, so we're gonna get through it. JFCEB, personal electronic and devices, and that is,
Okay.
uh,
I'll wear that. Oh, well, that's sure. Reading.
what are the changes that are being recommended in the JFCED?
Well, you get, like, if you look at the OSBA sample policy, that's the one Mindy sent you. If you look at that OSBA sample policy, the first one, it says you can strike out possession, or like you can just have student use of personal electronic devices. And And I would say that we would like to strike that out because I don't feel like we want to frisk kids and see if they have a phone in their possession. I would just say student use, because that's what our current practice is. So, and and what I would tell you, after 6 days of school at the elementary and at the high school, we haven't had cell phone issues after 6 days of school. So
Okay, so your recommendation is to delete personal electronic devices.
I would say we just say strike out possession or.
Okay.
And then you go to the next line, and so there's nothing else to strike out there. Personal electronic devices can be used when students are not on school grounds or are under supervision of school personnel other than the school bus driver. You can keep it if you want it, but I don't know if it's necessary. Okay, so we want to strike it out. Okay. I don't think there is you can change the number of days, but 10 is fine.
Okay.
And I would say personal electronic devices may be kept in the students' lockers or backpacks.
We're not doing pouches.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd strike out pouches and student's person or the person's clothing. Or we could take that whole thing out and just have personal electronics devices may be stored on the student's person, but may not be used during regular instructional hours. That is our current practice.
Okay, and that's what we want.
Okay, so we strike out sentence 2 and leave the optional sentence 3 in.
Which paragraph? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so then we go to the next page. And I don't see any brackets. Yeah, this is pretty much that's what we do. Maybe what we put in there is our current practice. See handbook.
See
Yeah.
student handbook.
Okay, so we'll cross out that section and then just,
Detention, but could include detention, Saturday school, change storage requirements, etc.
oh, I see what you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
at the very top, okay. Record for student.
I think we just leave it at, but could include detention or a change to storage requirements, etc.
Okay, just leave that in there.
Leave everything in there, but scratch that.
We're not doing Saturday school, right?
Yeah.
Okay, scratch Saturday school, but the rest of it.
The handbook for the next part.
Yep.
No, there's nothing else until the last, second last paragraph. Bills can be filed in accordance with KLAR public complaint procedure.
Yeah,
We can choose.
appeals can be filed in accordance with KLAR, the public complaint
We can
procedures.
choose superintendent or KLAR.
Follow the policy, yeah. Yeah,
Because I have to leave early tonight, but I was looking at the action items that I put my vote in, but I agree with that.
I don't know, but we do forum.
Okay.
So we're still good.
You need to call me and I can jump on.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, we've got it for them, so we're good.
okay, so we did personal electronic devices.
Yeah, and request for personal electronic devices exception, that's a form, it looks like.
That's the next page, that's the AR.
Okay,
Yep, and I don't think we need to make any changes to that.
Okay.
So that's 1 and 2 done. Now we're on the directory information. We all staying together? Sometimes I can go fast. Slow me down if I'm going too fast.
Well,
I have to receive AFC. I really need my glasses.
JFCEB-AR.
Okay.
And when you look at this, it just did it for you.
Right.
There is the second page under exclusions, there's the identifier, institutional email address in a class in which a student is enrolled. I think we just keep it in there.
Okay, you gotta live with it, so.
And we do have some parents that ask us not to release that information. So I would say that we just selected to have that in there. More information on one like this is better.
Okay,
So that was directory information. Okay, and then on the,
to education records, right?
yep, so we should be JOIGBAB -AR. That one's a long one.
But it looks like it's made changes. And I don't see any bracket
I
choices.
don't either.
Yet.
And this is all special education stuff, and we do a great job of special education record keeping. And so this is, something that our special education teachers are exceptional at. I really,
And they're not making a lot of changes. They're making
it's very few and limited.
very few changes, and we don't have a lot of choice. At the bottom of 4-10. Yes, control this.
I don't see why we wouldn't keep that in there.
Okay.
Nothing on 5. I didn't record anything on 6,
Nope.
nor 7. Nor 8. Nor 9. Good. So now we are on to
Disclosure statement,
disclosure statement.
and there just look if there's anything in there. He's there.
Congratulations, that was a painless policy.
Yeah, and now we're on education records, records of students with disability management.
It's the same one as above.
Oh, okay.
It's just got a different label.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've already done that
Yes.
whole thing. Oh, like policies. No.
It's got the- Maybe I have.
We haven't got to that yet. That's an information discussion item. That's 6C.
For informational purposes, how you know what what policies I'm bringing you. This is the complete 2 pages policy that was in the August OSBA policy update. And so the ones that we brought tonight are the required ones. And then when you've adopted those, we'll bring you the first reading of the recommended. And then after that, we'll look at optional if you want to.
So this was our first reading of this round, or can we adopt
You can
these?
adopt these because all of these are previous policies that you are just editing. If it's a new policy, you need to have at least 2 readings.
Okay. Can we motion right now, or do we need to wait until action items?
I think you can do a policy.
Is there
I so move.
second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call. Nick says aye, Mark says aye, and I say aye. All right, information and discussion items. Presentation of the 24-25 integrated plan annual report.
Looks like this. So this is an Oregon Department of Education requirement that we fill out this plan. We discuss our progress, we discuss our challenges, then we look at the performance. We listed all the amount of money. I mean, that's a big chunk of change. If you look at the bottom corner of page 2, that's a lot of money. But what really is the best is page 3, and it talks about the outcomes and the strategies. And these are directly where you guys took your district goals from. And so this is a culmination of lots of different efforts by Mindy, by Rondi, by me, by Jennifer Pambrin, and you as the board. And so this is summarizes it well, and we just have to present it to you. This is what we're doing. This is our plan. These are our intended outcomes and the strategies that help us achieve them. This is not the first time you've seen this.
We're just double checking your book.
Well, maybe I wasn't paying attention the first time I saw this, but what the heck is high dosage tutoring?
It's like more, it's kind of like extra work for students. So instead of going to art class, you're going to go to the title teacher and you're going to work on reading, or you're going to go to the title teacher and you're going to work on math.
Instead of some other class if you're doing okay.
Yeah, or it's an elective. It's not.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So you're getting more reps, more repetition.
And in the past, we've had some teachers do some summer school activities and some early Head Start stuff. So that would also be considered high dosage.
Okay.
Currently, the high dosage tutoring is also one of our educational assistants who is working largely in the kindergarten classes, which are already very small class sizes. But it's that first start, it's part of the literacy plans right now. To make that budget work, we moved some things around that it's considered to be high dosage because she would be taking tasks that the teacher had given her to get the extra reps right there in the classroom with those small. It would be more than 2 or 3 kids at a time.
These are our board goals. Chris already told us that these are his goals and that he is passing those on with his staff. And I believe Carter will talk about his process down the road.
That's later on the agenda.
Very nice. Very nice to see that incorporated. Third-party investigation into public complaint update, that would be me. I visited with Scott Whittington last week. He was finishing up interviews and is working on the written summary and his findings. And when he gets that to me, I will take a look at it, pass it on to our attorney. We will have a discussion of how to handle it, and then we will deal with it in an executive session, however she recommends.
Okay.
So hopefully we're going to see that before the next meeting. That is my hope. Yes, it'd be nice. Get that finished.
Yeah.
Okay, discussion of graduation policy IKE to prepare the first draft in October. Tell us about this.
So these, the graduation requirements in the state of Oregon have changed. And so we need to update this policy. This won't be a reading. This is just a discussion.
Okay.
So I I brought the copies for you to take away. You will have the Union School District current one, and then you will have the OSBA sample policy. Okay, and some of the graduation requirements that have changed in the last couple of years, which I believe are incorporated into our current policy, is civics. That had to be, and some economics, and then personal finance was another one that they've added, and so that would be a reflection in the model policy. And then one of the things that I brought to you earlier that I want to turn back to your attention now is this community service piece. Looks like this. So this is something that Rondi has kind of taken on, and you can tell by just looking at the document, it did not come from me.
Yeah, you did.
And so what I would say is that I want to incorporate that into our new policy. And if you look through this, Rondi did a great job of defining why we need to do community service. And it really, I mean, preparing our students for life beyond the classroom. And, our community is stronger when you work together. That first sentence says it all. And so then if you turn to the next page, you can see from the letter that this is the document that the kids will use to complete. Rondi and I will be going to these connections classes and visiting with the juniors and visiting with the seniors and talking to them about how they're going to have to do this and what we expect. And then kids that are going to struggle, right? There's going to be a kid that's like, I can't figure out what to do with community service. We have a laundry list going of different things that they can go and do, whether that's at the school, whether that's in the community, at the stock show grounds, wherever. And then coaching them up on, they're probably already doing community service. They're just not documenting it. And so that's what Rondi and I will be doing with these documents. And so that community service component, I want to add to the graduation requirements. For 2026, it's 10 hours, and for 2027 seniors, it'll be 20 hours and beyond. And then they can do those 20 hours throughout their high school career. It doesn't have to be just their junior year or just their senior year. And so that's why this is a discussion item right now. I want you to take this with you. We'll put it onto next month's agenda under policy. So you've had it, you've had a chance to look at it, you know where I'm going with it.
District goals and staff goals, and this is part of our ongoing education as a board, is to hear about how our administrators are tying district goals in with their staff.
And so what I did with every one of our employees, K-12, classified, certified, confidential, every one of our employees got a copy of the district goals and a copy of their own personal goals on the back of the district goals. We talked about it at in-service, and we talked about, look at the district goals, make your own personal and your professional goal. Have those to your supervisor with all of your trainings and with your job descriptions and that kind of thing. And so that was there. And then I included that in your packet. So the next page was my own administrative goals. We talked about those last month, and then you asked me to edit goal number 2. Okay, and so I edited goal number 2, and that's better communication with our school families and communicate. And so I changed to establish a connection with the city to add up-to-date school information to the city newsletter. I've contacted Laura Dodds from the city. I had a great conversation with her. I've got a plan to get that stuff. And it'll kind of be a culmination of the stuff that Rondi puts out on Facebook. And then get that into the newsletter. And then update the ThrillShare app to promote more families to download the app for updates. And so I've got a call into ThrillShare. Gonna try to get that, maybe see if between Tracy and I are the ones that use probably ThrillShare the most. And so it's user friendly for us right now, but how can we make it user friendly for our patrons? And that's the kind of goal there. And so then getting a QR code, having the QR codes in the office, coaching up Julie and Tracy, like, hey, have you downloaded the app? Have you downloaded the, like, that's
That'd be cool.
the third question you ask, well, welcome to Union, you know?
Yeah.
So then.
Very nice.
This might be a random question, but I just happen to be looking at like, I don't know, Pep Sports website, you know?
Yeah.
like all of our Gear and stuff.
Okay,
Like, is
is
that,
it BSN?
or sure, whatever.
Okay, okay.
Sorry. Anywho, is that something that like everybody in the community is aware that they can go on there and buy stuff, like, or? not?
We'll put that in the newsletter.
Okay, because just thoughts, like, I
Yeah.
know we sell hats and things at football games. and
Yeah.
what have you, But just give people an opportunity to get all that swag and stuff and wear it to the sporting events, so they.
Do you think you could make a flyer?
Well, we can, but Ronnie and Joe and I just met with Cat Wheeler last week about doing some branding. Cool. In school and creating.
Yeah.
A local version of that. So there's
Oh, cool.
some work in progress on that so that we get a unified, cut. Broadcasts and. Right, so there is kind of an array of options on that website. Yeah, we spoke to the coaches too about that. T-shirt fundraiser and they had Bobcat, but it definitely wasn't our Bobcat, so kind of that thought, so we brand and some people see the Bobcat or under us and we'll guard you, they know it's you and us and us. Cool.
Nice. So that will be coming down the road. Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, Ken has a lot of resources, a lot of energy to develop, so.
Yeah, I gotta mention this. She made me a shirt last week. I canceled our high school staff meeting on Wednesday. And Rondi had that conversation with her. She made me a shirt that said, high school staff meeting canceled. So. And that was because of Rondi's connection to. And I can't remember what her company name, Monkeys on the Run. Okay.
She also has the box.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, this weekend they're in the corner as you come into town. On the corner of Bishop Bryan.
First the Bryan.
Yeah, our dad works.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Goals look great. Awesome work. Long-term maintenance plan.
That is this document included in my board report for you. And I got a shout out to Mindy and John. They sat down and put this together. And so you can see like year one, there's a lot of stuff we got done this summer. Those are like pretty significant things that we're pretty proud of.
Honestly, this is just a beginning.
Right.
There's a lot more in his, he knows it's not his first time. But, you ask for a document, there's a document to start.
To start.
Yeah. And we talked about this, today, and I was like, we gotta look at the kitchen. There's, the freezer and the refrigerator. When was the last time we were, those kinds of things. I think it's going to be, like Mindy said, a working document, and that was just, the kitchen is just a perfect example. You're always replacing stuff in there, and it needs to be on a rotation. The dish sanitizer, those kinds of things. So we've done a good job, and Levon has done a great job in the kitchen. I'm not saying negative about the
Right.
kitchen. She's done a great job of getting grants and things like that.
She's estimating the cost to be 50,000. And John thinks it probably will be more like 70, because they're gonna have to be rewired. There's just a lot. Some of the structure, they're gonna have to cut apart some of the building to get those out. So it's just a lot.
Right.
This is not something you just do on a whim. You don't just buy the appliance and put it in place and plug it in. So,
Excellent. This is a great start. And this was something that one of our community members on the budget committee asked for. So this will
but
be
this has always been there. It just hasn't been written. So
Yeah.
it's
nice. But
Yeah.
this is nice.
Part of our regular everyday conversations that we have, as employees.
I would point out that neither of us probably, maybe maybe a couple, will still be here. But we replaced every major roof in the district with the bond. So they're all gonna be due at the same time someday.
Great. Great.
Not now, but in 10 years, somebody's gonna need to start setting aside a roofing
Okay.
or a track replacement fund for all the things. Because they won't live forever.
Not a
Or
new
they'll
surrounding.
pay off that bond and make a new bond. I don't know. That would not be,
Food for thought. That looks like it would go in the 10-year category.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Comments, questions? Good work, you guys. I know we've asked some extra tasks of you, but we appreciate the thought and the work.
And shout out goes to Mindy and Don for that. The two of them communicate well.
there's it. And then sent it to me. Here. And he goes, thanks, appreciate that.
All right, the city newsletter article, I think Cardi, you've already gone over that.
Yep.
And shout out to Nick for making that suggestion. So thank you. for
Someone suggested it to me.
Yeah, so the more we can do to bring our community in and let them know what we're doing at school, the better off we are. We need to tell our own story because we don't need someone else telling it for us. Never turns out well. Action items, letter of resignation.
We talked about E under 6, the third party investigation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. It is, they have finished all of the interviews. I did visit with Scott last week or the week before. He's finished all the interviewing and he's working on the findings, the written findings, and get it to us hopefully. I'm in nag mode at this point, so
Perfect.
we'll get that finished up. All right. Anything else before we move on? Letter of resignation. Tell us about the letter of resignation and the rehire.
I have it right here and I'd be happy to read it.
Okay,
Okay, dear Union School Board, it is with mixed feelings that I am writing to submit my resignation. I have thoroughly enjoyed working in the school district these past 8 years and have learned so much. I have grown very fond of all the staff and more importantly, the kids. Special education will always hold a spot in my heart. My husband and I have opened a storefront for our tire business in Island City and have been unsuccessful in finding reliable help in any capacity. Therefore, I need to be at our shop to support my husband in his new venture. This district truly has helped me grow into the woman I am today. I cannot thank Chris enough for his constant support and encouragement during my time with the district. I truly appreciate all the district has given me. Crystal D. Seeley.
and then the recommendation on the rehire.
And I can talk. Crystal Anderson is, okay, sorry.
I move we
Yeah.
accept that letter of resignation.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. Second, all those, or Nick, Mark, aye for me as well.
Sorry, I jumped the gun there.
No, I did too. Sorry, I
Um,
was clumping them.
And then, yeah, Crystal Anderson, she's been, helped us out throughout the years in the district. Julie Thurston's daughter.
Oh.
She,
Say,
sorry. So she has kids in the district, has volunteered, in different capacities to help different ways for us. And I am excited that he is able to fill in that position. I think she's going to do great things for us.
And my understanding was we actually hired her at the beginning of last year and then had to lay her off because the kid that she was hired for.
Correct.
And so that's why this is a rehire.
It's happened, yes, it's happened multiple times with her. We've hired her into multiple positions and then those kids didn't need that or left and then, so now we're rehiring her.
okay, I move we hire Crystal Anderson as educational.
Second.
Nick in favor?
Uh,
And I for me as well. And then we need to adopt or approve the final superintendent goals that we just reviewed. So if we can have a motion to approve Carter's superintendent goals for the year.
so moved.
Second.
And Nick, your vote?
Aye.
Mark? And mine is also an aye. All right, future agenda items, October quarterly superintendent evaluation pieces, and that we'll look at that as Chris and Carter, I know we'll have quarter grades the end of October, correct?
Yeah, beginning of first week of November is conferences.
Okay, so that'll be probably the high school piece as far as,
I won't have grades at the October
right,
meeting.
but it'll be November for that. Chris, what about,
I'll have the results by the November date for the beginning, for our first, third.
okay, perfect. So we'll look at those for November, not October.
That, I'm assuming that will be a meeting between the board and you. Is that an executive session or is that an open meeting? Was it a work session or is it regular board meeting? What are we talking here?
I would assume that it's like those evaluations we've done of me in the past have all been in executive session.
Okay,
So we would need to schedule,
Executive,
no, well, we could have an executive session at our regular board meeting.
Correct.
but that'll be November because we will hear academic progress.
okay. So
we'll-
you want like report cards and things well, summaries.
Right, yes.
Got it. Okay.
So we'll get the data for the academic progress and the
Okay.
attendance progress.
Okay.
These first checking.
And then then the executive session will be at the end after we've heard those, and then we'll be able to say, good job, Carter,
Or,
or
Stand it on.
come on.
yeah, do better.
Yeah, one way or the other. All right, and then also Division 22 standards is coming up in October.
Yeah, that'll be October.
Okay. So we'll move this to. All right, we will be having no public comment, right? But
Oh, darn.
because our online piece is being cooperative.
Which is just a side note with that is we did get the funding for the internet connectivity down here. And so that project will not start until I think our last football game. I can't, is our last home football game?
They talked about the middle of October.
Oh, because that's,
Until-
yeah, there's a gap. Yeah. After homecoming, that's what it is. The beginning of October.
October 4th is 1 month.
Yeah, and so that first couple of weeks of October, by the time you guys come to the next board meeting, there may be some construction going on. Is
What are we looking at?
They're gonna run actually fiber optic cable from the high school on the telephone poles as far as they can, and then they go in underground to the complex, to this building.
Who?
Ziply? Is it Ziply or?
No,
It's not, it's an internet cable company.
Right.
Yeah.
Why can't we call up Ziply and say, put us a internet, data line in here?
we asked, and the thousands that they were
$1,200 a month.
forever. Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
I'm glad it's not working for them anymore.
So that's why we're not doing this. That's why we went through E-rate. So we're not spending $12,000. We're getting actually, I think it's maybe 8. And then there's some hardware that comes with it. So it's very limited cost to us.
Do we pay rent on the poles coming down
No.
here?
No,
How come?
that's not part of the bid.
Everybody else pays rent on the poles.
Well, sometimes we get a good deal on some things, Mark.
Nice. We'll take it. Anything else for future agenda items. The only thing we have is Division 22 standards. There'll be other things. Right now, anybody else? All righty. Well, with that, I adjourn this.
Okay. Let's see.
Thank you all.
Thank you.